Cheers to another Wine About It, a really cool show because we are talking color tiebreakers.
We
And
are.
yeah, and what we mean by that is if you're in between two seasons, how do you fully determine what season you are?
Or a friend, or
Uh-huh.
somebody who wants to know their season. And what's really funny is that we're late. We're a couple minutes late
Mhm.
today because we got into this discussion because I could talk about this forever. And
Mhm.
I think it's really interesting,
Mhm.
um, a really interesting topic.
Mhm.
And, there's a lot of debate. And
Mhm.
in our group, some of us say that the color analysis it's a science,
Mhm.
but it's also a bit of an art form.
Right. That's absolutely true. And
And so we created some graphics where we could have a little fun, almost like a game where we could debate over what season somebody is and why.
Mhm.
And then we have a list of sort of tried and true tiebreakers that we use to determine kind of a final thing on somebody's season. And one thing I'll say is when we do color analysis, we use skin tone, eye color, but
Mhm.
mostly hair, because because hair is kind of like it's your crowning glory. It's kind of what people see more of that than anything else, and it's an easy way to kind of know you're in the right season. But hair color can change. You can change your hair color. So sometimes eye color is a good tiebreaker.
Mhm.
And sometimes skin tone is a good tiebreaker, but I never give those two things as much weight as I give the hair. So when you change your hair color, you very well could be changing your season.
hmm And what we mean by, for anyone who's new and that's joining us with your season, we will look at everyone's individual features and we put you into categories and we say what colors will look best on you because you have red hair, you have like these crazy, weird green blue eyes. You have a neutral skin tone. What does that mean, and what are the best colors to make you look the best and complement all of your features?
Right. And really, it's not that everybody we say can wear pretty much every color.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's how intense that color is. If you're, or the shade of that color, or whether that color has a warm cast or a cool cast. So really, we call them palettes for a reason, because it's not like you have, you look in red, but you can't wear blue. No. It is,
Mm-hmm.
we have four seasons, and we have four seasons of red. That people can wear, and we have four seasons of blue that people can wear.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few exceptions, like black. Black is not something that we think is the most flattering color on some of our palettes, but winters can wear black brilliantly. Summers can wear a version of black, which is gray.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Now,
so,
warmer seasons have browns and we have ivory. So it really it's a variation of every single shade that we
to
figure
the
out.
warm, to the cool, to the soft, to the clear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what we mean when we talk what is your season. Now, if you want to know what your season is, you can hop on over to colormebeautiful.com, and up at the top you'll see take the color quiz. You can do that. It's free. It just asks you a couple questions with your hair, with your eyes, blah blah blah, and you can fill that out and it will tell you what your season is. Or you can listen to us and you can figure out if you're in between a season, you can figure out today how to really determine what your season truly is. And we're going to be doing it with certain colors that really kind of will tell you what direction you need to go in.
Now, seasonal color analysis is a tool that you can also use to decide what color to dye your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that you, like me, you may have you can be naturally a little silver on top, and you don't want to rock that gray. You want to do a color. Seasonal color analysis can help you determine what a really flattering color is, because I have to tell you, as somebody who's actually had this happen, a bad hair color is the worst. I wanted to get kind of an ash blonde once, and they made me a yellow
Oh no.
hair yellow,
Mm-hmm.
and I look like a WWF wrestler. I won't name any names, but it was bad.
Oh.
And so I had, obviously
Mhm.
that was just too much warmth for me because I needed something over on the cool side.
Mhm. Yeah. So seasonal color analysis can help you in so many different ways, just figuring out, even when it comes to your hair color, what direction should you lean, or what clothing, if you want to be a certain color, what clothing should you wear to complement that new color? That's another, yeah, it's another really great benefit of knowing, because all of my clothes are very autumn. They're deep and they're warm shades like mustard and browns and burgundies, anything that's very warm and that has some depth to it. Now, if I were to dye my hair and go completely platinum blonde, those colors would not flatter me anymore. So it's really important that you know your season, know your best colors, and then you can figure out if you want to dye your hair, go for it. Just make sure you do it in the right color palette so you still feel good and that you love your hair color, and it just makes everything easier and simpler.
We did a wonderful experiment on Sarah, and then I did this on myself yesterday because I knew the show was coming up and I really wanted to kind of have all my ducks in a row. We once put Sarah in a black wig.
Mm-hmm.
She rocked that color. Believe it or not, Sarah in a black wig works. Now, people would say, well, what? What? And we're going to show you. We keep promising that when
Yes.
quarantine is lifted, we're going to show you. And I put on yesterday just to try it, and because I was clearing out some stuff and it was about to go in the trash, an ash blonde wig. And it was okay. I like my silver. I earned my silver. But it was okay. And if I were going to do a blonde, that would be the blonde to use. Certainly not a warmer blonde. But Sarah, she looked great in a black wig.
Mm-hmm.
She could, all this complaining she does about wanting to be a winter, she could be a winter.
Too much work. I don't want to have to dye my hair all the time. To be honest, I really like simple and easy. So that's where I always stand. Yes, if you want to dye your hair and you want to have black, just gorgeous hair, you can. Now, when I wore that black wig, I definitely needed to be in the right season, because
your lipstick needed to change,
right.
Needed to change, your clothes needed to change.
Because what didn't look good was me wearing my normal autumn colors. Like, I was wearing this rust colored dress that day with the black wig, and it did not look good at all. My eyes, underneath my eyes, went completely dark. My skin just went ghost. It looked really bad. But once I got myself into those right colors and I switched over to, we put a white drape over me. Yep, we put a white drape over me. We did a bright fire engine red carpet lipstick. And then we also, I took out some of the warmth in my brows, kind of did a haze over top of them so they weren't as warm. And it looks good. And you might have to change a couple of things. You might have to buy a new shirt. Why not? I mean, we love that.
If you ever want to hide your identity, perhaps you're running from the law, or
and you want to look good doing it.
You want to look awesome anyway. We can help you with that. We can help you get your new identity. We're available for that. Just let us know, and we'll get you on the run.
Of course. All right. So before we jump into today, I want to say hello to everyone who's watching us right now. Well, who's commented. I see Michelle. Happy Wednesday to you, and cheers. Let's see. Pretty hard to find a color. Oh, stop it, Linda. You are too sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And when are we going to be able to be together again? I have waited and waited and waited. And this, we thought we were pretty clever coming up with this way to do the show, although we failed you guys in a really basic way that I feel bad about all the time. And that is that my background is too warm and Sarah's background is too cool. But we didn't expect to be doing this for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, now look at us. It's like 4 months later and we're still here. Granted, we're lucky enough to be able to have jobs that allow us to work from home, so we can keep people who do have to go into the office safer, and it keeps us safe as well.
Kudos to the company and kudos to Katie, who kind of worked out a social distancing plan that, it expelled some of us to work from home and kept everybody else nicely distanced. And knock on wood, nobody's been ill. The warehouse is just as COVID friendly as it can be. Good job for taking this so seriously.
All right, so I'm going to jump into our first model. This one happens to be our easiest one. So this one, you can kind of tell right away what season we believe, or you will be able to tell she is. I'm going to make her larger and get rid of us for the time being.
We can talk about this in a number of different ways, but the thing about gray hair or silver hair is, even though this particular model, if you look at her eyes are black almost. They're so dark brown.
Mm-hmm.
Which normally you'd think, well, she would be a winter. And if you look kind of underneath, at the hair, at her neckline and at her roots, that's kind of salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the hair on top, you pick up a little bit of gold. It just a hint in the hair color. And I don't mean gold like warm hair. I mean, it's not pure white. So it's ish. You know what we say about summers, that if your hair is whitish, grayish.
Because it's not pure white and it's not salt and pepper. It's kind of that in between.
Exactly. And what that means is her hair color isn't clear. It isn't crisp. It is soft. And what makes for a cool, soft season? Summer. That's a cool, soft season. Now, everybody looking at this, we're interested in your opinion if you don't happen to agree with us. But we think that the denim jacket kind of pulls her all together. And her black jacket looks like it would arrive in a room before she does.
And so on the left, we have her wearing that black denim jacket, which is a winter color. And on the right, we have her in this soft blue color denim that would be a summer. So on the left, that black is a bit too harsh on her. I'm seeing a lot more shadows, underneath her chin. She's not as bright and as radiant, and she just looks a bit younger in that blue denim jacket versus that black denim jacket. So that's kind of where we're getting and seeing that her hair is grayish, but it's not white and it's not salt and pepper. So not enough contrast to make her a full winter. So she's ish and she looks amazing in that denim blue jacket.
Agreed.
All right.
Now, what is our tiebreaker for a winter season? If you're not quite sure if you're a summer or a winter.
All right. So between a winter or a summer, do you look better in bright white blouses? And that would be a winter, or an Oxford blue blouse, which would be a summer. So is it that crisp white that you look better in, or a softer blue blouse? That's kind of the difference. And also a gray suit versus a black suit. If you look better in a black suit, that's going to be winter. If you look better in a gray suit, that's going to be a summer.
Now, I can see this model in a gray suit, and she would be dazzling, in my opinion.
Right.
And Linda made a great comment, and I think it's so true. She said her hair on the right looks less drab.
Right. Yeah.
Brighter.
That's so true. Her hair just looks a bit more vibrant, and she radiates a little bit more on the right than she does on the left. So
I think she just looks more pulled together, kind of like everything is bathed in the same light. On the left, it looks like her jacket is just too heavy for her. So that's your tiebreaker. If you're ever and we went with this silver first because silver is like tough. Because what we explain to people is, if your hair is salt and pepper, you're a winter. If you're gray and not black. Well, some people say, well, isn't this salt and pepper? No, it's not. Because the pepper needs to be black. Salt needs to be white. And so that is salt and pepper. And again, that contrast is bold. So it makes for a winter. But if it's whitish, and if the hair in there is kind of an ash blonde, like mine, here's some.
Right. All right. So now we're going to bring it up a notch, because these are a bit trickier. We definitely had to really evaluate and look at each of these individually and figure out what we really thought about these. So this is
going to be honest. We tried to make this difficult.
Oh yeah.
These together.
We found these two models and we made it as difficult as possible for you. So we do want to hear your opinion on them. We want to know what you think is better for them. And these people, the next model I'm going to bring up is a warm model. And she's kind of just, her hair has two different tones in it. So it becomes difficult. And let me bring her up for you guys, and then I'll get rid of us so you can get the full
by design.
All right, so
there you, yeah, I was gonna say, I'm taking this picture.
all right, so here's our model, and we can kind of determine that she is warm. She has this rich golden brown hair, right?
But so, she's in the zone. She's in that place where somebody can look at her and go, well, her hair is it maybe deep, but it's not. Is it light or is it deep, or it's tricky, and that's why we wanted to make it a little bit trickier for you guys.
Mm-hmm. And that hair on top is spring, but the hair on the bottom is autumn. So it's really going to throw you guys off. And when we were trying to discuss her, it was really, really difficult. So do you want to tell what we determined at the end of it?
I will let, or do we want to ask folks?
Oh, yeah, of course. Comment in. Let us know what season you think. Do you think spring on the left, which is that bright orange or clear red, I would say, or do you think that olive green on the right is more her color? And this is difficult, and it's not like there's a wrong or a right.
Yeah, there really isn't a wrong answer, because if she had, this is a case where if she adjusted her makeup one way or the other, then she could be one season or the other.
Mm-hmm. So when talking about her, the spring on the left, it really, her natural, well, or whatever her natural hair color is on top, whatever that lighter shade is, I don't know if it's highlights or what's going on, but I really think that color complements that clear red really well on the left. So what you see in her roots really is a spring. It's light, but it's warm. She looks great in this clear red, that lipstick, everything about her looks so good. But on the right, I think the hair, that's her ends, that rich, warm, golden brown really looks good with that green. So that's where we're having the trouble.
Well, so what we have to do is think in terms of just kind of quickly kind of blink your eyes and look at one side or the other. And when I do that, I get a more youthful model on the left side as a spring than on the right side as an autumn. And she really is on the cusp. I mean, we could put her both ways. For example, you can find some olive in her eye color. That would say, okay, well, she does, she could pick up that olive with certain pieces of the autumn palette. But I still think overall, because she's got that lighter color next to her face, she's got enough brightness to be able to pull off spring.
Yeah, so she's really just this in-between person. When we were first discussing her, we had to kind of look away and look back at her. And it was just, I felt she looked more youthful in the spring, that bright, rich red, versus the olive green. And that green is like a power color for autumn. So if you look good in that color, that is a power color, and you are most definitely in autumn.
Well, one thing about it is most your other seasons cannot wear it. It's kind of an exclusionary. And Linda, you're right. She needs I think she needs a deeper lipstick, more like if she's going to go with her autumn season, she does need to go just a little bit richer and softer on the right, because her lipstick, I think, is a little bit bright for rocking an autumn season. But at the same time, I think she'd need to do something with her eyebrows too. They need to go a little bit deeper. Otherwise, her eyes are going to look washed out.
Right. So I do think that if she was going to be a true autumn, then I would recommend going a little bit deeper on, I'm assuming she has highlights, so maybe go a little bit deeper instead of those highlights, and darkening the brows just a little bit, adding that contrast that she needs to be in autumn. And that would push her right towards the autumn.
Put her right in the autumn. But I think as it is now, with the hair that's closest to the top of her head, I don't think she has enough depth there. I think it's just too bright and not soft enough. But I think with just a little, with 2 shades deeper in the hair color and a little bit deeper on the brows, a little bit deeper on the lipstick, I think she would be a very lovely autumn. She's a beautiful spring too.
Yeah, this one is tough. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about in-betweens. It gets hard. It gets really tough to determine what season some people are, because they're right in between. And now that we have the ability to kind of change hair color or eye color with contacts or brow color with brow powders and pencils, and your skin tone, I mean, you know, do you want a rich warm look or do you want a soft cool look? You can do that. You can change it up in like that. So it becomes really hard to determine.
Speaking of skin tones, there was a time when Bobby Brown made it famous. And then a lot of people picked up on it, where people were using foundations that were more yellow than their skin tone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was giving those of us who were in color analysis a fit, because it, you know, there were people who underneath all the makeup, they were, you know, pink, kind of a cool color. And then with the makeup on, they were a warm color. And we really had to say, you got to go with the hair color. And that the example that we just showed you was a case where the hair color was what pushed us over to make her spring.
Right. And one thing I want to make sure everyone has this information on, if you are determined or trying to figure out if you're an autumn or a spring or somebody else, one of the main questions to ask is, do I look great in brown and bittersweet red, as well as muted colors like mustard and olive green? Which
mustard and olive green are very exclusionary.
Right.
You can't rock those if you're any other season.
Mm-hmm. So in autumn, those are those autumn true colors. I know mustard and olive green, oh, my favorite colors ever. But of course, for anyone else, you're like, please keep me away. Now, for springs, you're looking better in bright, clear, medium colors, like medium golden brown, a clear red, light orange, or a light clear gold. That's where you're going to see those spring colors that look really, really good on a spring.
And what happens with that, the reason that that you can use those as tiebreakers, is because springs are more contrasty. They're brighter in overall appearance. So if you put those bright, warm colors on an autumn, you see the clothing first, and then you see the person.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we're both softer seasons, so we don't have a ton of contrast. When we talk about contrast, you know, there's no jet black hair, jet white hair. We talk about
white skin, black hair,
right.
Blue eyes, light eyes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everything's just kind of soft on us. There's no real contrast going on. There's no, you know, super, like if you're one color of hair and you can really just nail it, we're just soft. That's who we are.
We're soft people.
Yeah. Summers and autumns right here. Shout out to all of our summers and autumns on being soft. All right. So this is our last tiebreaker. And this one, again, is a really, really tough one. I don't know. I don't know if I would say this one is tougher than the autumn one, but these are really hard.
They're designed to be tough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And seriously, it took forever to get these models available. All right, so here we go. What do you guys think?
Yeah, see, we went in, we changed the model's lipstick so that the lipstick didn't provide any clues for you. Mm-hmm. But here's what makes this particular model tough. She has kind of a neutral skin tone. Her skin tone isn't really pushing one way or the other. And if you change her clothes, her skin tone kind of goes along with the color of the clothes. She has blue eyes, and they're kind of icy blue. But at the same time, she's dyed her hair reddish, a reddish gold color. Mm-hmm. So because hair is king, hair is number one. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that we really lean on as far as season. I have to make her a warm season and say that she's a spring. Now, if we took out that gold color in her hair and made her an ash blonde, then I think that she could easily then become a summer.
Mm-hmm. So on the left, we have her in a spring color, and on the right, we have her in a summer color. So this one is really, really tough because she's dyed her hair, but she also has natural cool colors. And I think if we were to see what her roots really were, she would be more of a cool season.
Exactly. I think she'd be an ash blonde or ash brown.
Right. But with this hair color and her brows being a bit warmer, right now I'm seeing a lot of warmth. And it's interesting because her spring colors, that orange, is pushing her hair even more warm. But with the cool colors, it doesn't give you that rich warmth. It's kind of like ish in between. I'm having a difficult time seeing what harmonizes her together. But
on the right side, it doesn't.
right.
But here's a case where if you, as an analyst, if somebody came to you and said, you know, what would you do? And I'm willing to dye my hair, I'm willing to do whatever. I would say, let's get some of that gold up, the brassiness out of your hair, move it more toward an ash blonde, and let's go with summer, because you know I think that you can pull that off. However, if she said absolutely not, I want to be golden blonde, I would say, okay, we're going to make you a spring, and we're going to put the spring palette on your face and put the spring palette in your clothes, and you're going to look just fine.
Yeah. And of course you can be whatever color you can wear whatever color you want. You can be whatever season you want. Totally up to you. It's just there are some tweaks that need to be made. I would also, her brows are a little bit warm on her summer side. So I would probably get rid of some of that warmth as well for those brows just to help her out. But really what I'm seeing, I'm seeing that warmth. Also, when I do a quick look at it, her pink lipstick is arriving first for me compared to that orange lipstick. So when I just do a quick little look at her, that pink lipstick and that pink shirt is arriving way before I see her.
Well, I think that wouldn't be the case if we changed her hair color. And you guys feel free to just to chime in, because as I said earlier today, I don't know if I said it to you guys or I said it to Sarah, creating a palette, understanding somebody's season, it is a science, but it's also an art form. So the reason that that when you get in cases like this, you have to rely on your eye, because the hard and fast rules, they may abandon you.
Right. And I would love to get what you guys think. What are you thinking? What are you seeing in this? And I'm seeing it's almost like each direction is trying to pull her in two different directions. And I'm kind of getting that I see a lot more harmony on that spring side versus that summer side. So really, that warm hair, the warm brows, it's warming up her skin tone. She's wearing a warm lipstick, the warm shirt, it's pulling together and harmonizing. But on the right, I'm seeing that warm hair is not.
You know what, Sarah, I've used this term, and I corrected myself a couple times because it's not flattering, but it makes her hair look brassier on the right. It brings into focus that her hair has that yellow in it, and it makes it look like a mistake. Whereas if we go with the spring season, if we honor the more golden hair, it looks of a piece. It looks harmonious.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have you guys on here just kind of giving your feedback and seeing how hard it can be. Sometimes there are people out there that make it tough on us. They really, really do make it tough on us. I know.
And we want to do a good job for people. We want to make sure that anything that we advise is going to make them feel good about themselves. You know. But we've had cases where somebody, for example, might have picked the hair color, and they saw it on some model somewhere. They saw it on somebody on social media, and they said, oh, I want that hair color. Well, that hair color, in the case I'm thinking of, wasn't going to be flattering at all for this person, but that is what they wanted. They wanted this hair color, and it was like it was highlighted. The highlights were blonde. The lowlights were like auburn. There was a little bit of, some things the Kardashians had done or whatever. And then it completely changed the person's season. So it became very difficult to actually put them in the season because it wasn't really one thing or another.
Yeah. So this can be tough. I know it can be absolutely.
Did you tell them the tiebreaker for that particular?
Oh, you know what? I did not. That was between a spring and a summer. So if you're in between a spring or a summer, do you look better in, are you ready? Camel, golden brown, salmon, or a bright blue, which those colors are spring.
Clear, right.
Right. Or do you look better in a gray, rose brown, burgundy, blue tone pastel-y colors, or a medium blue? Those are all summer colors. So that's really where you can differ, and you can find out what colors look best. And sometimes a drape test is the best way to get you in the right season, because that's the true way. Make sure you're doing it in natural lighting So if you're by a window or something, just drape some different colors of fabric and see which way you lean towards, what looks best on you. Make sure your hair is out, no brow powder, nothing changing what your natural tone is, and that will really help determine where you fall. It's a quick little drape test. All right, I'm going to read a couple more of these tiebreakers. So what we didn't do today was a tiebreaker between a winter and an autumn. So let me grab winter and autumn. Does your face look better when wearing navy, white, and red? So very clear, bright colors.
Here's a shout out to Betty Jean Mitchell, because she is the most winter of the winters I've ever seen. And yes, she would look best in those colors.
Yes. Now, or in my colors, would you look best in camel, ivory, or like an earthy tone rust color? That's really how you determine.
And really, there's kind of a simple test for this. Between winter and autumn, we were showing you some tough ones, but between winter and autumn, it's easy because you say, are there red or gold highlights in the person's hair? In the complete absence of red or gold, that person, if it's between winter and autumn, is a winter. And if there's red or gold in their hair, they're probably going to be and one of our most autumns of all times just said, rust is my color. Yes. Mary Beth Layman, rust.
Hashtag Team Autumn, Mary Beth. Yeah, so winter and autumn, very easy. Don't mistake. There's something that I do tend to see a lot is people mistake. If they're a winter and they wear a rust color, it makes their skin look a little bit more yellow. So they think that it's making them look more golden, but it's not. It's really sallowness. So that's something that I would.
Who do you know that makes that mistake?
I've had a couple of people that when applying the rust drape, they think that it's warming their skin tone, but it's actually going sallow on them. You'll see when it happens to you, you'll notice that your skin tone goes yellow. Don't mistake the yellowness for warmth. It's not. It's sallowness versus an actual, when you're in autumn and you wear a rust color, it's like magic. It's like one of those things where, it's one of the best shades out there.
You are such an autumn.
I know. I can't help it.
Are there any summers out there, you guys? We've got people speaking up who are autumns, and we've got people speaking up who are winters. Where are my summers?
Well, here's the tiebreaker for a winter or summer. If you're somebody out there and you don't know if you're winter or summer, here we go. Are you ready?
This takes us right back to the very beginning.
Yep. The blouse, white blouse or Oxford blue blouse. White blouse is going to be winter. Your Oxford blue blouse is going to be summer. So really what we talked about earlier. And also black versus gray is another one that you will help determine.
And gray is a great one. I mean, if you had to give up all the other stuff to do your test and you could just do it with gray, and I'm not talking about a charcoal gray. I'm talking about kind of a light gray, maybe a 30% gray with a touch of warmth in it, more like a light gray flannel. You try that on a winter versus a summer, and you will definitely be able to tell one way or the other.
Yeah. We definitely have different tones when it comes to gray. You being a summer, you love gray and would wear gray every single day of your life. And us warm seasons out there in winters, we just don't look that great in gray. So,
and the thing is Sarah, you are very sporty, and you lift weights, and you're always going to the gym. And one of the options that I see so often for sporty folks is that gray color, the kind that you see on sweatpants and whatever. And that's just
sweatshirt.
Yeah, it's a staple for fitness wear. And I've run into cases where I may have seen things that would look great on you, and then I know that no, that's not going to fly.
Yeah, it's tough. It can be tough because the industry tends to lean towards cool colors. And I always say this, winters, you're lucky out there. The industry loves black. They love white. They love blue, red. So it can be tough sometimes for us.
They sometimes do lean toward warm, cool colors. But when you're leaving the summer and heading into autumn, that's when you should have your whole wardrobe.
Yeah, you might see a pop of green, that rich, warm green tone, or the pumpkin colors, those oranges, the rust. That's really the only time we get to shine and get to like actually shop and just love everything.
Well, and you mentioned a color that's also a pretty good tiebreaker for autumn versus spring, and that is if you look better in that leaf green. The color of leaves as they're coming out in spring, that fresh, when they're not kind of inundated with chlorophyll and it's just they're baby green.
Mm-hmm.
If you look great in that compared to an olive or a drab or a green,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't mean drab in a non-complimentary way, because some drab greens are Sarah's favorite colors on earth.
Yeah, like a softer green. It's not a punch. It's like a soft, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a muted gray.
Yeah.
And soft colors, if you're mixing them on a palette, if you have your palette in front of you and you want to go from autumn to spring, or I should say spring to autumn, because spring is closer to primary. If you wanted to mix something into that fresh green to make it more of an autumn shade, you literally mix red, the color of Sarah's hair, into that bright leaf green to make the drab green.
Mm-hmm.
And think about that for a second. If we literally can mix in our hair color, for example, if I want to make any primary color closer to something that is in my palette, I would literally mix in gray to create that powdered look, that powdered effect. So is there something that's telling us, put your hair color into the colors that you're mixing, and that will give you a flattering, harmonious look? Yes, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I did get a really good question from Susan that I wanted to bring up. The first part of it gives it away a little bit for me, but then it becomes a bit harder. So she says that she has grayish hair, which immediately I lean towards summer when I hear that.
Ish.
Brown eyes, red rosacea in my face, and have dark brown under my grayish hair. So that's tough. I have been called winter and autumn, but I'm feeling more like a summer. And she also has some ash blonde in her hair.
Tiebreaker?
Yes.
What's our tiebreaker for summer versus winter versus autumn?
Okay, so.
Can you wear gray? Can you wear that light gray flannel color?
Mm-hmm. Now, what I don't think you are is an autumn. I have to say that I do not believe with the grayish hair. Right, the grayish hair, I'm going to rule out autumn no matter what. Also, if you have a pink undertone with that rosacea that you talked about, I'm also going to rule out that warmth.
But I will tell you, you don't have to wear your rosacea. You can,
right.
And the color wheel that we have, it's a color correcting color wheel where there's a greenish color you put on top of the rosacea.
I do want to make sure when you say you do have your rosacea, is that a pink undertone?
Yes.
Okay. If that, I'm gonna say my guess is gonna be a summer, but I do want to read between a summer. What should we read between? A summer and
both summer and a winter, and a summer and an autumn.
Okay, so the first slide we had was a summer and a winter. We had our model in black, and we had our model in a light blue denim jacket.
Or in our written tiebreakers, Oxford blue.
Right. So, or a white blouse winter, or a gray top in summer. So let us know, do you think what looks better on you? These clear, crisp colors like black and white, or a soft blue or a gray, something a bit softer? Which one do you feel looks better on you?
And the thing you're looking for is, does it make you look washed out? You've got to really kind of think in terms of what gives your face overall tonality.
Right. I also, if you want to, let's do winter and autumn, because you said that you have been called a winter and an autumn before, so I'm going to give you a few shades that will help determine it. I do not believe you were an autumn, though, just based off your clues saying grayish hair.
And she said some ash blonde in her hair.
Right.
If she were an autumn, there would be red or gold highlights in her hair, and I think that she would have mentioned that.
Right. And you would be able to wear things like rust and ivory and camel.
Mustard.
Right. Very well, I want to say autumn colors, but that's soft but warm colors. And if you're a winter, you're going to be able to wear things like navy blazers, white blouses, fire engine red tops. So that's kind of where those two differ, and you can tell the difference. And then there was another two seasons that I wanted to go between. So you did say you have some ash blonde in your hair.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward, without seeing a picture and really delving into it that way. I'm leaning toward summer.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, and you also mentioned grayish twice. So you did say grayish hair, which means that I'm also leaning towards the summer. And you say you feel more like a summer as well. So I think that, yeah, I definitely believe that you are gonna find yourself more towards the summer.
Now we're doing this blind because we haven't seen your photo, and we will go back and we will look at your photo and make an evaluation against your photo. But based on those colors, I would say summer.
Yeah, Susan, if you want to message us your photo as well, you can do that. Or you can leave it in the comments, however, wherever you want.
I do want to say another Team Autumn just arrived, Sarah, so you are definitely winning today.
Yes, we overpower it. Also, Linda was here. I mean, autumns are taking over right now. And our season's coming up soon, so it's going to be our time to shine very, very soon.
Your shopping season.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love it. I love like sweaters when they come in that are mustard and scarves, and oh, I love it.
And you know what? Do you have color aversion? I'm going to throw this out to you guys. You can post if you want. But when Sarah's talking about mustard and she's talking about these colors, I really don't like them. In fact, I would say that I loathe them. And she's talking about them with such love and, you know, just adoration. And, you know, I like my gray. I love it. And yeah, I like my kind of soft. So do you find that you gravitate, that you love the colors in your season? Because that could kind of be why people choose certain hair colors, maybe because a season calls to them or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. I know rust. We could talk about rust, mustards, olive greens. Oh, they make my soul just feel so warm and happy. But then when you talk about like pastel blues and grays, I'm like, ugh, no. Why would anybody want that?
Now, there's certain colors in my season that I really don't like. I do not like pastel pink. I just don't like it. But my teals and my blues and my ish colors, colors that aren't primary, I love those.
Yeah, I definitely think we all tend to lean towards the colors in our color palette. I really do believe it because I love all of those colors. They make me feel good. So I really do believe we tend to lean towards our season without even knowing it. And I think a lot of my friends, just when I talk to people about what I do, I always say, like, you know, what are your favorite colors? And I can immediately tell them that you pretty much know your season. You just don't know how to utilize it properly. So
think about this. When you're little, when you were little, you were a blonde. You were spring. You were just absolute stereotypical spring. If you go back and look at the pictures. Blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yes, very golden blonde hair.
Yeah, like Goldilocks.
Yeah.
And so when you were spring, you were dressing in a lot of blue. You know, the blue kind of matched your eyes at that time, and a lot of denim.
A lot more vibrant colors, I would say, as well. So everything, you know, I liked brights and clear reds and like bright greens, like almost neon-y type greens, just with more yellow in it. Yes, absolutely.
And then as you matured, you know, and your hair kind of it became enriched into this color. It is natural. That's for natural hair color. I saw your preferences change.
Yeah, it's true.
And so I don't know that it was somebody walked up to you and said, "Oh, you look great in rust," or you look, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's just something that you know, kind of in your heart.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Now I know let's see. I love warm gray, and I can't give that up, even though it's not in my color. I mean, we can wear like a lighter version of a warm
because it's soft, Holly. It's soft.
Yeah,
And I'm
you probably like it because we can wear, if you're talking like a grayish, like where
stone-ish, taupe-ish. Yeah, that's in your palette.
Oh yeah, you don't have to get rid of that.
When we diss on gray, or when Sarah disses on gray, she's talking about that pure gray right in the middle, a little on the cool side, that you see in a lot of athletic wear. The gray of sweat pants.
Like those hoodie, like just the typical gray hoodie. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see, I miss pinks, but it's for my mom and she looks great in it, so that makes me happy. Yeah, pinks are a bit tougher for warmer season, well, for autumns, but
just think, you still get warm pink. Warm pink is a color that you can use, and just because you don't get bubblegum anymore, bubblegum pink, you get coral, and you get some beautiful warm pinks.
Yeah, I have to say one of my favorite dresses is like this soft, peachy, warm, but it's deep. Like I've never seen this color before, but it happens to be one of my favorite dresses, and it's the most beautiful color of pink, but it's
like a papaya almost.
Well, it's a lot soft. It's a lot softer and deeper, but it has a lot of warmth in it. I'll have to bring it on to show you why it's my favorite color.
And wear it one day.
Yeah, I have worn it before in a video. I'll bust it out next week.
Bust it out.
All right, let's see. I buy a lot of peach and salmon, and I look great in the peach and salmon all day long. Pinks, yes, you already knew we were going there, Holly. All right, let's see. I used to color. So Susan used to color her hair brown, and it tended towards golden.
And Brenda says that she thinks she's a winner, and that saturated solid color is her jam. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I want to go back to Susan's comment. Let's see. Your hair is now going gray this year, and you've added toner to try to get rid of those golden tones. Well, water plays with my hair color as well. Can be frustrating. Yeah. So it sounds like
I have great tips for that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it sounds like she's kind of in that transition phase, and you had to go through that. So,
but I still go through that because I swim, and when I swim, well, I haven't been swimming in 4 months, but normally in regular times I go swim in a pool, and the chlorine does weird things to my hair. And I found a product called Overtone. And it's a leave-in conditioner. I highly recommend it. And it beats back that yellowing because my hair also goes yellow in the sun. And I think it's from back in the day when it was a regular color. And remember how the sun kind of highlights your hair? Well, the sun will make my hair go a little bit yellow. And this Overtone is awesome. You can order it.
That's how we endorse products. It's great.
And it's the one I use. Platinum.
So it does, Susan, it does sound like you're in that transition phase and you're kind of going in between. But yeah, I would recommend just kind of putting something that can help move it a little bit cooler to try to get rid of any yellow or brassiness that's in it. That will help out a lot.
And Linda mentioned what season looks best in rose gold. And we have been doing a lot of work in rose gold lately. Rose gold or brick or that deep corally color. And I like a spring in rose gold. But when
I think it depends on the rose gold.
The nuance.
Right. Because I've seen some pinkier rose golds, which I do agree. That's definitely a spring.
Vivid rose gold.
Right. Like I want to say like a cheaper rose gold, like when you get accessories that are, I don't like more pinkier. You know, have you ever gotten like a phone case in rose gold, but it's like almost like a pinkier color? That's kind of what I think of when I think of rose gold. But there are rose golds out there that tend to lean a little bit more coppery. So there's kind of that difference in the rose gold. Is it like a pinky rose gold or is it a coppery rose gold? And those kind of differ for me because if it's more coppery, I tend to say it's autumn. But if it's like that pinkier color, I tend to say it's spring. And I've seen rose gold be called a lot of things or a lot of things be called rose gold.
And it's kind of, and now that you've gotten us into metals, that's a whole different deal because gold, true gold, they say, can be worn by springs or autumns. But I like you in a more golden copper tone, something that's a little bit more rosy.
There's definitely variations of it out there. And, one thing is called gold and it looks nothing like the next thing that's called gold. So I do believe there's a lot of variations on different shades. So you have to be careful with those kind of things. If it leans a little bit brighter, then it can move into a different season. If it's softer, it can be a different season. If it's more vivid, stones, don't get us started on stones because that could take all day. But it really just depends on that tone.
Which is why, it's awesome to have a palette, to get a palette and work from your palette.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about rose gold in jewelry, sometimes the stone will decide, whether obviously rose gold is going to be better with the spring or an autumn. But let's say that the stone, if the stone is vivid, like really more jewel tone, then it's going to be more perfect for spring. And if it's a softer tone, like I've seen turquoise in rose gold. That's just, I've also seen it yellow gold looks great. And of course, what we always see is turquoise and silver.
Well, I was going to say emerald is another one that I see paired with rose gold a lot. And that's kind of, it takes it's deeper, it's softer, and it takes it more towards that autumn.
More contrast.
Yeah.
Spring is a more contrasty season than autumn. Winter is a more contrasty season than summer. So think contrast. If you're really stumped and you can't work it out, it's this rose gold, inevitably it will be with something. Or, for example, right over here, I have a rose gold sort of chain thing that I wear because it's on the pink side and it blends well with my pinks.
Yeah. So there's a lot of variation in color, and in one little tiny difference can flip something into a different season. So it's tough. Just like determining the seasons that we talked about today, it was tough. It can be hard to really figure out where you are. And there's also people that are in that transition phase. When that trend was the ombre hair color, I had a lot of friends that did kept their natural rich brown tone at the bottom that didn't have any warmth to it, so it was very cool. But then on top they decided to get really warm golden highlights, and trying to figure out where they were in the color palette. Like, were you trying to complement your roots? Are you trying to complement your ends? What are you trying to complement? Was really hard to figure out for them. So it can be tough. It really can be tough, especially since we can change our hair so easily. And
the one piece of advice that I have for you is don't mix warm and cool in your hair color. Just don't do it, because it's never going to look good. And
well, it's so hard to harmonize your look.
Dictatorial here, but if you're putting highlights in your hair, don't mix ash highlights with a warm hair color, because your ash highlights will then look green.
Right.
Because you'll have ash sitting next to something that's reddish, and they will look green. And it's try to stay in the same warm family or cool family. You go crazy on your hair, whatever you want to do. But if you highlight and low light, make sure that they stay in the same family. Otherwise, the results will not be pretty.
Right. Completely agree. Just try to get that difference between the warm and the cool. It's really important when it comes to hair.
And Linda mentions that her palette has saved her much disappointment. And we hear all the time that it saves people money, because they'll go out and they'll shop and they'll find something that is not in their season. Like Sarah has a mauve blouse that she loves. And
always talk about that shirt.
Drives her insane because she loves it so much. So you end up buying something you think is awesome and it's not in your season. You say, well, I'll wear it. And you know what? I guarantee you won't. And even Sarah, when Sarah wears this shirt she loves so much that's not in her season, she pulls her hair back, she changes her makeup. I mean, she goes all out to make sure that, and that's kind of a lot to deal with. And Holly speaks to something that I think is something everybody needs, and that's the online palette. Because these days, that's where I'm doing all my shopping.
Oh, yeah.
I'm doing it with the online palette because, it's not like I can stand in the store and put my, look at my palette against something in the store light. So I've got to rely on my digital.
Yeah. Hey, getting into right season will change your life. It really will. It helps you understand color. It really helps you understand your hair color. It will help you figure out if you are going to dye your hair, or if you're going to go gray, how to transition, or if your hair does transition. I mean, my hair transitioned from a very golden blonde to this auburn deep color this thing. This whatever this is, I don't know. And transition to this, and I needed help and I didn't understand it. So palettes help with that, and it also helps with your getting gifts for your friends and your family. I know
it helps you dress your husband.
Yeah, my husband always now is like, does this color look good on me? And I'm like, it's a new season. That's why I bought it for you. Or now it's funny because now he'll say that color looks good on you. And I'm like, thanks.
Well, and that's the compliment around the office. You know, it's not exactly the compliment you want because you don't want people to notice your color more than they notice you. You know, we say that you're really successful if somebody says you look beautiful rather than I like that color red.
But that's kind of like our compliment to say, hey, you look good today. That color really shines on you. It brings out around the office. It's not, wow, you look cute today. It's, wow, that color looks so good. It's your skin tone. Yeah. That's exactly how we are.
Oh, they're into it.
Yeah, that's our office.
And that's what we remember. It may not be kind of the way we remember it because it's been so long since we've seen everybody. It might be different now.
Yeah. So, now, before we hop off, we got to do our final cheers. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Oh, here we go. There we go. Cheers. So happy you all could join us. And
we didn't speak to our wine. I'd gotten a question from Holly before, and I don't think I ever got back to her on it. I apologize. On the sparkling grapefruit wine, I will put that in the comments after this is over. I'll do that. It's amazing. And I went ahead and had some. And Sarah, what are you drinking?
I'm just drinking my regular sangria. I have this giant bottle. It's huge. And so I need to finish it off. So more
and then, you know, if you take long enough to finish it off, it'll turn into red wine vinegar and you can just use it on your salads.
I didn't think about that. Wow, genius. Why didn't I think about that? Yes. We are also going to be off on Monday. So we will not have an It's a Beautiful Monday show, but we will be having a Wine About It Wednesday next Wednesday. So you can't get rid of us just yet. You still have to be here for next week's Wine About It Wednesday. And we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and the rest of your week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.